I'd like to introduce Professor Joyashree Roy. She is a member of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or the IPCC, whose report she has been an author of over the past 3 cycles. She is also the founder and director of the Center on South and Southeast Asia Multidisciplinary Applied Research Network on Transforming Societies of Global South, abbreviated SMARTS, and the inaugural Bangabandhu Chair Professor at AIT. So please join me to welcome Professor Roy.
Good afternoon, everybody. And it was such a learning to attend this whole session today. It was great. What I would do is that I feel that all of you who are present in the room are experts like me as well. Only thing is that we got a chance to stand here and talk to you. But you can also have the equal capability to come and stand here and talk. So why not, let's have a dialogue, right? So that's what I just thought. And what we will be doing is, with me, I have my postdoctoral researcher who is there operating the computer. So she's not here, but we together prepared something. So we heard in the morning that if we have to have a disruptive change in our lifestyle, and lifestyle includes just not how we live, but also how we produce, how we consume, and how we manage our economies. So there has to be a disruptive change, and there will be a disruptive change, whether we accept it or not. If we accept it, it is better. We get used to it faster, and if we can't, then we will be lagging behind and we will be suffering a lot. So how to reduce the human suffering, right? That's the whole question. So in the morning, Steve also said that there are going to be many disruptive changes, and so I want to share with you all your wisdom also, and want to know how you think the society is going to change over time in this whole region. So what I would do is that can you use your mobile phone to get the QR code, or you can type out slido.com and that number, and you can get this question. So would you like to put your responses to that? I'll just wait for you all to, yeah, but we want the display on, yeah. You can take the QR code also. What do you think are the most important indicators for transitioning to a circular plastic economy? Good. Government policy, carbon emissions, efficiency. Yep. Landfill, waste reduction in landfill, job creation, yes? Okay, you can continue putting in this, and then you can see how terms are coming up and what it really means. Job policy, the technology, how we reduce how we recycle, all these things are really important in having a circular economy, from linear economy, how we transform to the circular economy. So what will be the process of change? So what I want to say is that, can we go to the next slide, please? Yes. Yeah, oh no, that's coming up to the same thing. Yeah, this is the same, but yeah. So what we wanted to say is that we understood, and you saw Susan were showing the Indonesian economy that unmanaged plastic in the environment is imposing a huge social welfare loss, which simply means is that we saw that if you do not manage your plastics in the economy, the leakage, then it costs to the economy 15% more than managing it. So it makes sense that the government can save money by waste management rather than allowing it to go to the, so what we saw is that we started doing that for Indonesian economy, and then I tried to look into the different, in the region also, we saw that every media reports how flooding gets worsened, impact of flooding gets worsened due to presence of plastics in the environment. This is true for Thailand, this is true for India, this is true for Indonesia, and in all the mega cities. This is becoming a real problem. So all urban living are creating, we are throwing the plastics in the environment unmanaged, and that is leading to flooding, and that is costing, we are saying that 15% more government expenditure, then it could have been used for something else, and that something else could be with less than 15% expenditure, you can make your waste management system the state-of-the-art waste management system. So with less money, you can have a better living and less flooding, and that money can be now invested for something else, right? So you can manage your expenditure much better. And so that's what we said, that if there are unmanaged plastics, then it costs 15 times more than the cost of action in Indonesian context. So what we wanted to say is that, so how do we make a transition? So in the literature, it says that the theory of transition says that there are 4 stages of this transition which is needed. And one is that there is emergence of transition through innovation, like what is happening now, the emergence of innovation. And then there should be early adoption. I can see that the innovation and early adoption by non is really happening simultaneously, so that's a real good indicator. And then the diffusion, you all have said that how this information needs to be, knowledge diffusion really need to happen. And then how do you really stabilize, and that the economy then stabilize at that level. So in the morning what we heard that there will be a transition, it simply means that there will be all these 4 stages we have to pass through. Now the question is, how can we reduce the time of this transition? As I said, non sets an example that the emergence and early adoption and diffusion, and work towards stabilization is happening almost simultaneously. This is an ideal example how you make the transformation faster, right? So that's why I really love what non is doing. And then, how do you determine whether these are all 4 stages are progressing or not, and at what scale this is progressing? So we say that there are functions in technology innovation system. These are the functions which you can keep tab on, and you can monitor how fast they are happening. It's like entrepreneurial activity, knowledge development, knowledge diffusion, guidance for research, market formation, mobilization of resources, and creating a legitimacy. These are the 7 dimensions which will bring in the transformation. We are saying that we are going to make a transition through those 4 actions, and these are the functions which need to happen within the economy so that you make a transformation. So if you achieve all these at the top level of their values, then you can say that, yes, we have come to a transformed society, right? So how you measure whether you have, how far you have gone towards the transformed society through the process of transition. And in that, what we did, we did a very rapid survey across the different, we sent it out to the experts, and we tried to see that what they are saying about this region. So what we did, we got from different regions, and so we tried to show that how we measured that transition. So from the experts' view, experts like you all, what we got was that, so for Southeast Asia, so 2 countries, we got the responses, which shows that, so these polygons we draw from their responses because there are indicator values. We give them, what do you think, 0 to 5 scale, how much it has achieved. So if we look at these, then we can see that Indonesia and Thailand, someone has done more knowledge diffusion, someone has done more resource mobilization, someone has done more market formation. So not each country is doing in the, or progressing in the similar pace. So we can see who is lagging behind where, and where they really need to make better move. So basically we are saying that if you are on this borderline, that means you have achieved the transformation. So we are on the path of transition, which is clear from here for both the countries. But who is doing better and who is doing worse, we will see how to get that, right? So now what we are trying to see is that, so with the same expert review, what we did was we tried to do for Bangladesh, India, Nepal, and Pakistan, whatever responses we got, right? And we can see that how different countries are doing differently depending on where the progress has been made and where more progress needs to be made. And also, for European countries also, we got some responses, and so we could draw these polygons, and then we tried to see that where the transition process is and where everybody is lagging behind and who is going how far. Oh, sorry, there was one more slide. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, can I go back? Okay, so I don't know where that slide has gone, but what we tried to do was we tried to put all these in one, and then what it means, I remembered that, so I can tell you what we did. So if you are on the border, we can actually calculate, and we can do some math, and we can find out. So basically what we are trying to say is that we are trying to say that this is the maximum that one can achieve, suppose in 0 to 5 scale, right? So if you are achieving the borderline, that means you have achieved the transformation. And the area of the polygon will be somewhere in 92 square unit what you use, right? So basically we are saying that we want to cover our landscape of change is 92 square, suppose meter, kilometer, centimeter, whatever you take, right? So that's the landscape of change that we want. We can define it that way. We can do a math like that. And then we can estimate this area of the polygons, and we can see how much who has achieved. And from that point of view, we saw that Indonesia and Thailand has higher polygon value, and then we have Austria, Thailand, and Indonesia, and below that comes the global number and all the South Asian countries. So basically we can see towards the circular plastic economy transformation, how much it has been done. This is based on expert survey. But we can do these otherwise also from empirical evidences, and that can also be done. I just showed that how quickly you can generate some numbers, and you can show that where the transition level is, right? So with those things, what I want to say after hearing this, how much land we have covered in terms of transformation, what do you think? Can you do this QR code again, please? And I want to know, what do you think? Do you think that plastic economy in the South Asian countries can, or not only South Asian countries, any of the country which you are familiar with, right? Just go by your familiarity. And what do you think that whether we can achieve the circularity or we will never achieve circularity. So you can see how people are responding, right? So 50% thinks that beyond 2050, wow, too far. We need faster. We need faster, right? So which simply means look at the target 7 dimensions and see where more push is needed, right? So that's very important to know. Okay, people can continue giving their responses. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, I mean, you can continue and we will keep getting the responses, so that's not a problem. So now I want you to work a little more harder, right? So that is something what I want to know from you all. The country you are familiar with, what do you think that on 0 to 5 scale, because you all are the experts, we interviewed only 16 experts, but now I have more experts. I want to know, what do you think in terms of entrepreneurial activity and all these dimensions, 7 dimensions, where we have made a progress and how much? And present these in this Slido. So there is one more Slido to take, and you tell us that in terms of entrepreneurial growth activity in your country which you are familiar with, what number would you give between 0 to 5? Mm-hmm. So we understand that we have not really, the entrepreneurship has not really developed in our countries, right? So that's something which is coming up in all the studies, in the earlier expert study, and this one is also coming up, that there are really more startups, more things need to develop. So in terms of knowledge development, where do you think we are in your countries? Yeah, you have to take the QR code again, please. Oh, well, why are you going so fast? I'm sorry. We want to, no. We go to the second question, knowledge development. This was the second one? Yeah, okay. Research, yeah, knowledge development. Mm-hmm. So it means that actually, that it's true. So at the knowledge development level, changes come faster. And then the take-up in terms of entrepreneurship really takes time. So how can we reduce that time is the challenge, right? So if we, okay. Can we go to the next one, please? Yeah. So which means that knowledge is developed, but how this has been diffused or disseminated, right? Whether knowledge has been disseminated or not. So today we learned so much. Without this knowledge dissemination, we would not have learned, right? So what do you think? So this will be another, yeah, hard work, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you all believe that knowledge diffusion happens faster compared to the entrepreneurship development. Of course, this is easier. The awareness programs and all are easier to do compared to the entrepreneurship development, right? Okay. Can we go to the next one, please? So, which means that, what do you think is there, I mean, for the, are there guidance provided for So it's knowledge dissemination is one thing, but then guidance for search. Suppose when solar technology was coming in the market, we all knew about it. But many entrepreneurs then, when I used to sit in the seminars like these, they used to ask, if I want to buy a solar panel, where do I go? So it's like that. So now, if someone says that, okay, how can I get the recycled polyol in the market? Suppose, right? So this is the question. So that would be like how the guidance will be given. So what is needed for new research, what new research, how you really form the market, how entrepreneurship can be developed, what are the financial mechanisms, subsidy or tax benefits which are given. So yeah, that's actually, we have seen that in this case, the guidance is really, really low. It's not much. You cannot go anywhere and get the guidance quickly. It's really hard. Yep, we saw it earlier also. So we are done with, but now I think we have 2 more. Yeah. Little more hard work, huh, for all of us. I think 3 more slides. Yeah, so what we want to know is that if you want to start a business, do you know how to mobilize the resource, or are resources available readily to mobilize for starting a business or something? So where we are in terms of that, very low. It's low in almost all the countries we found. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good to see. So if you ask non-known, NAPS will say that the government policy does not exist to finance a service model. You cannot, it's not bankable to get finance. So financial system is lagging far behind to develop the entrepreneurship in this whole area. Okay, can we go to the next one, please? Yeah. So this is about, unless you have a policy, unless you have a legal system which supports these policies or incentives are there, without that, businesses cannot happen. So I want to know, in terms of circular plastic economy, in your countries which you know, how far are the policies? Are they really advanced in terms of your innovation compared to innovation, knowledge development, like that? So if you compare with other dimensions, where do you think in terms of legitimization and incentives and policies? So even if you have everything, but if you do not have a policy, it will not go too far. So 7 dimensions have to progress simultaneously to make the circular economy transition faster. So the last slide is that, yeah, so are there, do you think as the role of stakeholders, waste collectors, recyclers, business associations, civil society, media, and the circle is defined and existent in your countries, familiar with? So are there many advertisements you see? Are there many, advocacy groups, etc., which you see usually? Okay, not much. All right. There is, I think, the last one, right? No? No. No. Yeah, the market formation, no? Yeah. Okay. So it's all right, Shatabdi. So we can look at this. So we just now want from you all, for which countries you responded, if you can just make that. Okay. Okay. That's what. So those who have responded, we can see who are from which countries more. That's okay. So that's what we got the responses. So it's expected that we are in Thailand, so we got more responses for Thailand. Thank you very much. And what is the next slide? Shatabdi? I think we are done, right? Yeah. So can we have the last slide? Thank you slide. Yeah. Thank you very much.